Good morning or afternoon or whoever or whenever you're seeing this. This is another conversation video. As you can see on the screen, we're talking about Game of Thrones, or should I say, a possible AAA Game of Thrones video game. Now, I don't know if there's any actual game in development, but I'm just gonna just have a little bit of a discussion about it. Um, I do not own any of the images that you see on the screen. I'm letting that be known right now before I get a copyright. Whatever. Anywho, a AAA Game of Thrones game with well, honestly, it does have a lot of incredible potential, offering players a vast, immersive experience in the complex world of Westeros. And the first thing that comes to mind, and the reason why I'm even making this video is because of Hogwarts Legacy. Please excuse the violence, but it's Game of Thrones. What do you expect? Hogwarts Legacy is one of my personal favorite games, and maybe y'all's as well because it's very popular on this channel. Um, Now, I'm not saying that it has to be original characters, but I'm just going to say this. Like in Hogwarts Legacy, you create your own original character, align themselves with one of the four Hogwarts houses. A Game of Thrones game, an RPG, could let players choose and pledge allegiances to one of the iconic noble houses of Westeros, such as House Stark, Targaryen, House Lannister. This freedom to select and explore locations, engage in exclusive activities, and experience house-specific storylines could elevate the gameplay and storytelling to a level yet. Well, yeah, I don't think it's too much explored in the shows. I don't really know too much about the books, but I do know that there's a lot of details in the books that were left out of the shows. Some for the best, believe me, some for the best, but others could have had a more impact on the show. Like there is another Targaryen that was not even in the show, but whatever. Um, so back to my pitch. Character creation and house selection. At the start of the game, players could create an original character, customize their appearance, backstory, skill set. The choice between the houses would play a significant impact on the story, gameplay, and the character's journey. For instance, House Stark. Characters might focus on honor, loyalty, swordsmanship, fighting for the North, navigating the open and bleak cold landscapes of Winterfell and the Wall. I think that might be another character. I know someone. I mean, Jon Snow is part of the Wall. He's part of House Stark technically, but I guess that's not exclusive to House Stark. I guess, but anywho, House Lannister characters could face the cutthroat world of polit- politics. Considering that this video is being recorded a few days after the election, I don't know how popular politics are right now, but y'all know how House Lannister can get, right? Um, and House Targaryen, personally, this will be my favorite. They'll be able to have your players focus on claiming lost glory, riding dragons, embracing the rich and mystical history of Valeria, if I'm pronouncing that right, Dragonstone, sorry. And the house selection could impact alliances, enemies, sorry, quests and character development, making each playthrough a unique experience, much like Hogwarts Legacy. Now, the thing is with Hogwarts Legacy, you just have a couple of dialogue, not much really changes, there's not really much consequences. But I would love that to be changed in something like Game of Thrones. Oh, we're gonna throw House of the Dragon in there as well, obviously. For house exclusive activities and unique quests, each house could have exclusive activities and gameplay mechanics. For House Targaryen, members could unlock dragon riding as a unique activity, taming and bonding with a dragon, hopefully not getting burned alive. Over time, this mechanic could serve both as a form of transportation and a powerful combat option. House Stark Characters might engage in training at the wall or even serve with the Night's Watch, encountering wildlings and White Walkers and other threats beyond the wall. House Lannister, perfect timing. House Lannister members could focus on building political power within King's Landing using intrigue, bribes, influences to gain an edge in highly volatile environments. And House Greyjoy characters can engage in combat and explore the Iron Isles, um, unique culture with gameplay focus on riding and seafaring. um, I lost my train of thought, y'all. I'm so sorry. Anywho, the combat system would draw inspiration from typical fantasy RPGs. The combat system could be designed with inspiration from games like Elden Ring, The Witcher, Assassin's Creed, um, more specifically Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Creating a blend of realistic medieval melee combat and fantasy elements would would vary between house alignments. And back to the houses, it's not exclusive to Stark, Lannister, Targaryen. There are others, like I said, Greyjoy and Dorne, if I'm remembering correctly. Now, as far as where the game, or when I should say, the game would take place, I personally think it should be in an original timeline, but I know not many people may like that. But it can't be after. If you're looking at the show, it cannot be after the show ended because King's Landing. That is King's Landing, right? The one that Daenerys destroyed. Um. Anyway, that kingdom is a big kingdom, and it's an iconic spot. You don't. Where would you? Where would you go if it took place after that? So it'll probably have to be beforehand. But again, I still think an original timeline would be good. And also crucial elements of the books of the show would um play a vital um historically a vital part in shaping the world around your character. And now back to combat. You have weapon variety. Players could have access to range of medieval weaponry, um, from long swords, shields, bows and arrows, to spears, crossbows, even Valerian steel weapons. Combat could be intense, require dodging, parryings, skillful use of weapons, similar to combat mechanics in Elden Ring. I haven't played Elden Ring, but I heard it's hella difficult. And magic and mysticism, you can create a mage. Unlike the TV show, magic is more prevalent in the books by George R. R. Martin, as you probably already know. Especially in the lore of characters like Melisandre or the Ancient Valerians. In this game could include magical abilities like a regular RPG, I suppose. But hey, who doesn't like magic? Um, yeah, it could use magical abilities, components, especially for players connected to certain factions such as Red Priests, Green Seers, or followers of the Faceless Men. Environmental combat locations from frozen landscapes of the north to the Red Keep of King's Landing could offer environmental elements that influence combat such as slippery ice fields, narrow corridors, or destructible objects. An original storyline with book elements, like I mentioned earlier. The main storyline could be an original narrative set during the events leading up to the War of the Five Kings, or could take place during a different period, like Aegon's conquest or Robert's rebellion. During excuse me, sorry, drawing inspiration from the Witcher series' success in creating an original narrative while remaining true to the source material. Um, Please keep in mind I'm reading this out loud, some stuff that I wrote. So that's why I keep switching between living and reading, just to keep my thoughts in order. Anywho, like I said, The Witcher had success creating its original narrative with remaining true to the source material. This Game of Thrones game could pull elements from various characters, locations, lore found in the books, the Song of Ice and Fire novels, and the Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon shows as well. Having the story lean more towards the books may offer deeper lore, like I mentioned earlier, mages, more character options, more this will become more complex with these characters' storylines and more morally ambiguous. I'll get to that in a second. The game could have branching storylines, multiple endings. That's always fun, allowing players to shape the fate of Westeros through their choices. Now, that is a big thing that I think, heck, you can go for the Iron Throne yourself. Will you be a good ruler or a bad one? Speaking of, a morality system and consequences. A morality system could be central to this game, giving players a reputation, that will lead to more allies or enemies. This reputation score based on your actions, decisions, alliances, choices would have lasting impacts on the relationship alliances. Honor versus ambition. Players could be faced with difficult choices that force them to prioritize, um, force them to prioritize. I lost my train of thought again, or should I say, lost where I was reading from. Honor or power. A Stark character may choose honor, alliance, alliances, or forsake them for greater power, changing their reputation and the world's um, perception of them. Betrayal and loyalty. Players may have to choose between allies, betraying allies for personal gain or remaining loyal, even when it costs them. For instance, helping the Lannisters could yield rewards, but at the expense of betraying other characters. Being morally ambiguous, true to Game of Thrones' theme, choices might not always be clear cut. With the game presenting a morally gray options, where every choice has both positive and negative repercussions, this dynamic morality system could create complex inter-house rivalries, betrayal, alliances, and so on and so on. That's my biggest thing, you know. I think having this morality system with actual consequences, to me, that just feels very important. Like I said, I use the biggest example was Hogwarts Legacy, where all your choices didn't really prove too much. I think it should definitely, in a Game of Thrones game, you definitely want to have your choices morally shaped by your decisions to be seen as a conqueror, a just ruler, or just a piece of shit. Pardon my language. Expanding the open world of Westeros, a AAA game, could feature open world maps of Westeros from King's Landing to Winterfell, the Wall, Dragonstone, and beyond, similar to how Red Dead Redemption's seamless uh, integrated map filled with lore, hidden details. A Game of Thrones game could offer detailed cities, landmarks, secret locations, each reflecting the distinct culture of the histories of the Seven Kingdoms. And you also obviously, you have NPCs. Westeros could have their own allegiances, making each town feel more alive, more politically charged. Again, it's taking place during the election of this video. Moving on. Damn politics, but still, it makes it interesting. Um, Encounters can have a range of friendly encounters, hostile exchanges, confrontations based on the player's house affiliations and actions. Random events and occurrences similar to random events happening in Assassin's Creed and Red Dead Redemption. The game could feature random circumstances, political events, or encounters with bandits, wildlings, or even White Walkers. Big part. Now, who should the villain be? Most likely the White Walkers, but eh, to each their own. I'm the pitch. I'm not the I'm not the writer or anything like that. So no. With the magic and mysticism parts of it, a mage class players could specialize in different magical properties if they choose a character aligned with mystical factions such as the Red Priest, Faceless Men, or the Children of the Forest. The game could feature mystical creatures such as obviously dragons, dire wolves, and shadowbinders. Are there even more than that? I can't remember. Players might encounter these creatures during specific quests as part of their house aligned quests. Previous Game of Thrones games like Game of Thrones VR experience, Telltale games, mobile have been limited scopes. While these games explore certain storylines, they do not capture the full depth and scale of Westeros. Y'all know what I mean, right? A triple A Game of Thrones game, however, would benefit high production value, a robust open world map, dynamic combat, and deep character development. A triple A Game of Thrones RPG, if developed with commitment to the source materials, complexity, and the potential for players' choices, could offer a groundbreaking experience in the RPG genre by allowing players to create characters and align with great houses, exchange in rich history of Westeros, the Seven Kingdoms. And now, well, I'm gonna bring this video to a close. That's just what I feel like a Game of Thrones game could be like. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.